everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about all the things that all of you keep asking about and that makes healers like me want to cry. So we have today Amber Wright with us, and we're going to talk about 1099s and 1040 Schedule Cs, ministers, contractors, state taxes, sales taxes, and donations. And Amber's here to help us make sense of that because her background is actually in bookkeeping and accounting. And we're so lucky to have her here, not only in our PMA Advisors team, PMA Power as well, but on our video here today. Hi, Amber.
Hello, so nice to be here, Layne. And yeah, these are some heavy topics that can be really serious for people to deal with. How do I handle taxes with a PMA?
I get it all the time. And the nice thing is I had some great conversations along the way, and I pray a lot and I go to sleep and I sleep on things, and then I wake up and I just started to sort things out. Happened to be one of the people who confirmed what I'd sorted out. But it's so nice of you to join us. We should just jump right in, I think.
Yeah, jump right in.
Share, it is scary, but we can be more free than we are. We have a public domain, and we're going to not be afraid about sharing about the private. Okay. That 1099 thing?
Sure, I think let's tell it as a story.
Okay.
So let's say we have a business, and we're realizing that we have our freedom of rights, and we have the right to practice our own spirituality and also interact with people through our business as a spiritual organization. Does that sound about right?
That sounds very right.
Okay, great. So we've decided to convert our business into a spiritual organization and keep practicing and offering our services, but now we're doing it with faith involved, because we feel like this is part of our life purpose, and we are sharing. Maybe we have services, maybe we offer classes, whatever we're doing. Let's say we have somebody come in and help us with what we're doing. And instead of having an employee, what do we have, Layne?
We have a minister.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or a member.
Yes.
Yep.
Or what else instead of employees?
Could be a contractor.
Contractor, yeah. So we have ministers and contractors, and of course we want them to be members of our organization, because that's how we work with them in the private domain.
Right.
Okay, so
and this is a lot like the public too, right? Because public domain can have a 1099 contractor.
That's true.
So what in our story, what's the difference?
Okay, so in our story, the difference is that they're essentially working with us voluntarily, and so they're more like a self-employed contractor than an employee contractor.
Okay. Understanding that if we're in the public, I would file a copy of the 1099, and so would that contractor. Is that right?
From my understanding, is that the ministry offers the contractor a 1099 to say, this is what you've earned this past year.
Yep. And
then it's up to that contractor to file. And the ministry itself does not file anything with the IRS.
Yep, that's true. But the public does both.
Yes, or the state government. We are exempt from any tax filing as a religious organization or faith-based organization.
Very good. To do the 1099 route, then, yep, I'm going to hand, in our story, I'm going to hand you a 1099, but I'm not going to do anything with my copy.
Exactly.
And just so people know, I did need to do this for 2021, and I was able to do a workaround. I did the printing, the filling out of the form online, and then I printed it out, but I did not submit it but because I said I'm just going to print it out and mail it. So there's a way. You don't have to just automatically submit online.
Awesome. The contractors also can keep track of their own earnings as a self-employed individual, like self-employed contractor. And it's up to them to do that filing in good faith. It's a voluntary filing. For instance, when we have ministers, they basically as working within the religious organization, they are exempt from tax filing as well. However, this is where it goes to what is our own personal faith. Do we feel like it's important for us to file a 1099, or are we more part of the organization where we are exempt as well? And this is where because some of us have been basically trained and indoctrinated that we need to file our taxes every year. So if you feel like you need to, go ahead and do it. I'm not saying don't file your taxes. I'm saying that as a religious organization, we are exempt.
Yeah.
So it's voluntary.
Right, right. And there are special situations like half the year you've had a ministry and the other half of the year you did not, or there's people who have previous agreements with the IRS. So there can be those situations, as well as maybe feeling like, you know what, I do want to file something. So that's what we're really talking about. Yeah.
And what if we have multiple jobs too? So there could be, for instance, I'll give an example. We're opening a center of learning here, and we will be hiring our instructors as contractors, and they might have 3 jobs. So this is one of their jobs that they're going to be claiming income for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that actually brings us to next on our list is this beautiful form called the 1040 Schedule C. In my life, it's in my self-employed tax life or history, maybe that's a better word, history, I've always filed a 1040 Schedule C because I had different streams of income. So one of the things I learned, because I am one of those people who has a special situation and did need to file, that in talking to different CPAs, that I would just continue to file a 1040 Schedule C. That might be something that, for example, your employees do because they've got different areas of income. This may be an option for people if they say, I don't want a 1099, but I do need to show that I made some income in my self-employed life. Correct?
Yeah,
yep.
That is correct.
Okay. Anything else you have to say about 1040 Schedule C?
I can read the description for it. It says, use Schedule C, Form 1040, to report income or loss from a business you operated or a profession you practiced as a sole proprietor. So if you're working for yourself, even as a contractor, you're essentially working for yourself on behalf of this other person. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so an activity qualifies as a business if your primary purpose for engaging in that activity is income or profit, and you're involved in the activity with continuity or regularity.
Very good. I love the 1040 Schedule C now that I have wrapped my head around it and don't want to cry. As well as I just have to do the little plug that's helping me figure this stuff out, because you can ask them all kinds of questions. But I feel like we should say something about more why a faith-based organization is enjoying this mandatory exception. What's your take on that?
My take is that we have, okay, I gotta go into a little background. So when our Constitution was founded, between those 7 years of our country being formed and the Constitution being founded, we were based on the scriptural rights in the Bible. And a lot of our rights have been clarified in the Constitution, and they have originally come from the Bible. And those are our our rights and freedoms. And these are basic human rights. So we have, in the private domain, we are referring to our rights as spiritually aware human beings. And there's a separation between church and state. That's the simple explanation right there. There's a separation between church and state. All judges, lawyers, police officers, any government official, they know there's separation between church and state.
The other piece of this too is, thank you for that, is that you may heard of, the vow of poverty.
Yes.
Where we have, we view it more as a renunciation of worldly materialistic things. So your family documents can say that instead of the vow of poverty. It kind of makes us uncomfortable in the 2022.
Yeah. It goes into what is poverty and what does poverty mean. And I think that it's almost like taking away your ego of I am who I am, and I am like, this defines me. Like what I do defines me. And it turns it into what the vow of poverty really means is I'm committing my life to helping this organization, this spiritual organization, thrive in the world. And in my dedication to that, the organization is taking care of me, is taking care of my bills, my house payment, my, paying for electricity and putting food on the table for my family, and helping me have a vacation once a year or whatever you set that up for. Is that the organization helps take care of you and you are committed to helping grow the organization. It's a little bit different. So it's a different perspective than the employee-employer relationship. Right. The employer, the organization is not, it's a different relationship. They're not employing you. It's a religious organization, and that's a whole different structure.
Yeah. Very good. Cool. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Do we feel clear on that?
I do. Okay. I hope the audience does. If you don't leave a comment, and we would love to make another video describing any other variances of these topics.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, we're going to put Amber's information below so you can reach out to her as well. As a matter of fact, why don't you tell us real quick what you're doing in your PMA?
Yeah, our mission is to recreate the healthcare and education systems. And this is so important. I was on the phone call this morning with a man who was in the hospital, and he was sick with COVID, and they gave him remdesivir, and they were giving him other medicines and not giving him proper care, basically to help him get sicker. And he had a fight to get out of there. And the hard thing is that I got off the call and I realized that this is actually normal to hear stories like this. And he was saying that because of, he heard our podcast and he heard about what we're doing, that he's very inspired to help and sees how important it is that we recreate the healthcare system. So, and then also with the education system, it's basically government education. Public education is government education. Yep. And what we can do in the private domain with education is so amazing, and it's freedom-based for the parents, for the administrators, and for the children.
So exciting.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. Every time I have one of these conversations, whether it's with another advisor or a client, it's so exciting what people are realizing what we get to do now that we
exactly
have taken
it is
off.
So amazing.
Yeah. Let's do number 2. So we'll be back in our second video, and we're going to talk about sales tax and state taxes. So we'll be right back in video 2. Thank you.